This is the Bastard Star Wars RPG Deep Dive Podcast.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are unpacking just one of the most strategically aggressive and honestly pretty chaotic scenarios we've seen in the source material.
Yeah, it's quite something.
We're looking at this immediate aftermath of a military win that was so messy, it instantly became like the biggest liability for the Rouge Squadron.
Right. Our mission today is really to follow this small group as they get absolutely cornered. They're forced into becoming triple agents.
Triple agents.
Yeah, serving the rebellion, the powerful Hutt Syndicate, and the Imperial Security Bureau, the ISB, all at the same time.
Wow. Okay. So where are we pulling this from?
We're using after-action analysis summaries and some transcript excerpts. They detail the huge fallout from the battle at Heists Castle, and then the setup for this incredibly high-stakes operation at the Glittering Gamble Casino.
Okay, so let's jump in. The victory celebration that never happened, right? The sources kick off right in the hangar of Heists Castle. It's battle-scarred, messy.
Exactly. They just pulled off what the reports kind of generously call a chaotic victory.
Yeah. Chaotic sounds right.
Yeah, but they didn't get a second to breathe. ISB agent Lady Ilara Corrit was right there waiting for them.
Corrit. Not someone you want waiting for you.
Definitely not. She's sharp, a manipulator, and she knew exactly what the squadron had really done. The sources confirm it. Assassination of a Moff.
A Moff? That's huge. It's like a governor of the private army, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge military power. And they murdered an Imperial envoy and destroyed an Imperial capital ship. This wasn't just some border skirmish.
No, this is high treason territory.
Absolutely. If she reported that truthfully, it would mean instant, sector-wide Imperial crackdown. The squadron would be wiped out, period.
So Corrit didn't just ask for their help.
Oh, no. She laid down an ultimatum. A nuclear option, really. She offered a deal.
Okay.
She'd falsify her report, claim the envoy was killed by rebels, convenient, right? And say the cruiser was lost to reactor failure, plausible deniability.
But there's always a but. What was the price?
The price was, well, everything. Their loyalty, their operational freedom. They had to agree to become her deniable assets.
So deep cover spies.
Exactly. Working in the shadows, feeding her intel on the great houses, the local gangs, criminal syndicates, and the rebellion itself.
Oof. That's the killer, reporting on their own side.
It's the ultimate trap. Ethically, strategically. The sources show the squadron god this wasn't about saving them, it was Corrit weaponizing them.
But they couldn't refuse.
Refusal meant certain death. So they took the deal, and immediately the tightrope walk began. Triple agents.
And how did that sit with the team, especially someone like Marduk?
Marduk. The Hutt enforcer. Cynical doesn't even begin to cover it. He called it out instantly. Basically asked Flick, their leader, how are you going to work for Zarga, the Hutt, and the Imperials?
Yeah, good question.
It just hung there, right? Because it exposed the truth. They weren't serving three masters. They were just promising to betray two of them at any given moment.
And this pressure, it wasn't just external, was it? I mean, the team itself started to fray.
Almost immediately. The sources show the core team fracturing right when they needed unity most. Two key members left.
Ooh.
Tyler Alden first. He had this deep Imperial cover identity, right? Well, the Heists Castle incident, this chaotic victory, made his position impossible. Too much heat. He had to vanish back into the Imperial machine to survive.
Okay, one down.
And then Beaumont Grack left. This one's tough. He went to help the rebels sell back on Vicenoth.
And what were they facing?
An entire Imperial legion.
An entire legion. Jeez. So Grack went off to basically face impossible odds.
Yeah. Just shows you the scale of the wider conflict. And meanwhile, the core squadron, the ones left dealing with Corrit and this mess, they just lost two vital members.
Right when things got incredibly complicated. So thin ranks, what's their first move?
Priority one was a rescue mission. They had to get their pilot back, Skyrus Prime. His escape pod went down in the jungles of Night Singer's Orb. Dangerous place.
How'd they find him?
Salvaged sensor logs from the battle. They tracked the pod, found the crash site. But Skyrus wasn't just waiting.
Captured.
Yep, by Vark. A huge, scary Trandoshan bounty hunter.
Oh, great. So shootout.
You'd think so, but no. This is where Conrad, another team member, kind of shines. He took the lead on negotiating. Instead of fighting Vark, they paid him.
Paid the bounty hunter. How much?
115,000 credits. Cleared Skyrus's bounty right there.
Okay, expensive, but maybe smart. Avoided a fight.
But they didn't stop there. In this, masterful pivot, they hired Vark right after paying off the bounty.
Wait, they hired the bounty hunter who just had their pilot?
Yep. Enemy to employee, just like that. He's now their bodyguard.
That's efficient. Bizarre.
It gets better. Or worse, depending on your view. Skyrus, remember, the pilot they just spent $115K rescuing?
Yeah. Defined by greed and chaos, you said.
That's the one. The source notes indicate almost immediately after Vark was hired, Skyrus tried to sell Vark back into slavery.
No, seriously, to get gambling money.
Apparently so. Just moments after the team dropped a fortune to basically acquire him.
That is, does that level of just sheer internal chaos actually help them somehow, make them unpredictable?
It kind of seems that way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They confuse everyone, allies and enemies alike. And the final insult. Skyrus made Vark take the call sign G2.
G2, like the droid.
The very same droid Skyrus had sacrificed not long before. So this massive, deadly Trandoshan warrior is now named after a droid. Humiliation complete.
So they turned a liability into an asset, then immediately treated the asset like property.
Right. That's Rouge Squadron SOP, apparently. Standard operating procedure.
Okay. So with this expanded team, including G2, where do they go next?
Back to the heart of the problem, at least for Flick Barnaba.
Yeah.
The Glittering Gamble Casino, that's where Flick owes 3.2 million credits. His ownership stake is hanging by a thread.
And things have changed there now, right, with the ISB involved?
Immediately noticeable.
Yeah.
They arrive at the station, and boom, enhanced Imperial security. Everyone gets disarmed. The crackdown Court basically promised is already happening, makes everything harder.
Right, but they weren't just there to check on Flick's debt. They had missions. Dual missions.
Exactly. 2 simultaneous jobs dropped in their laps. First one's from Whisper, their info broker.
What did Whisper want?
Needed them to break into the casino's central accounting vault. Not for credits, though. For physical data slates.
Physical slates? Why?
Apparently, they contain hard, irrefutable proof of financial crimes happening at the casino. Whisper needs this solid evidence for her own ownership challenge against the current setup. Could blow the whole thing wide open.
Okay, so a high-stakes heist. What's mission 2?
Mission 2 comes from Conrad's old contact, Regal Stagenak. And this one ties into the bigger power plays. Regal spills that Flick's rival, Sir Tazur Firon.
The guy Flick's hates.
That's him. Firon is teaming up with Hamar Chaktak, another major player, to use a big Sayback tournament, the Void Stare Classic, as cover.
Cover for what?
A massive arms deal, laundering the payment for a whole platoon's worth of advanced disruptor rifles.
Disruptors. Nasty stuff. That could shift power locally.
Big time. And the signal for the payment transfer. It's tied to the outcome of a specific high-stakes Sayback hand during the tournament.
So they need to pull off a vault heist while also somehow disrupting a major arms deal between 2 enemy factions, all under the nose of increased Imperial security.
You got it. Piece of cake.
Right. So how do they even start? Intel, I guess.
Exactly. Riode, another team member, goes undercover, poses as a security consultant.
A rebel operative consulting on Imperial-watched security. Does anyone question this?
Apparently not. He actually gets a tour of the vault from the head of security, Jax Volin.
Okay, what did Rio find out?
Crucial stuff. Layers of defense, roving patrols, sensor grids, digital keypads, old-school physical tumblers.
Standard high-security setup.
Yeah, but the real kicker is the final lock, a 3-person biometric system. You absolutely have to compromise one of the 3 key finance officers to get through that door.
3 officers. Who are they? Any weak links?
Well, there's Kalen Randall. Super paranoid, apparently designed a lot of the security himself. Probably tough to crack. Okay, then there's Fenris Typho, the chief auditor. Problem is, he's fanatically loyal to House Machete. That's Farron's house, Flick's rival. So, no help there.
Leaving.
Riza, the Twi'lek CFO. And here's the hook. She's a compulsive gambler, massive debt, 1.2 million credits owed to the Jock Syndicate.
Ah, there's the leverage point. Obvious but dangerous dealing with syndicates.
Extremely dangerous. And guess who steps up to exploit this?
Let me guess. Skyrus.
Bingo. Our chaos agent. Apparently, he used some unexpected gambling winnings of his own and his unique charm to get Riza talking.
What was the play?
He fronted her 100,000 credits, which naturally she lost almost immediately.
Of course.
So then the squadron made their real offer. We clear your entire 1.2 million debt to the Jock Syndicate. You give us your cooperation for the heist, your biometric key.
Wow. Did she take it?
She did. But clearing that debt cost Flix another 500,000 credits up front. just as an advance to buy her access and silence.
So they bought an accomplice, but clearing that debt, doesn't that put them directly in the Jock Syndicate's crosshairs?
Exactly. They just interfered with the syndicate's income. Yeah. And the sources confirm Riet also learned something else from Valen. The Jock Syndicate's top enforcer, a guy named Razor Ryland, is on the station right now.
Oh, fantastic. So they traded a massive financial problem for a very specific, very deadly, very motivated killer potentially hunting them.
Yep. Every solution creates, like, two worse problems. It's their pattern.
So this mess forces them to actually strategize.
It does. They had to pause and figure out a really complex, synchronized plan. And Marduk the Hutt actually gave them the key insight in his usual cynical way. He said something like, usually if you want one of these things to go bad, you need to turn them against each other.
Make Pharaoh and Hamar Choktok take each other out.
Precisely. Use their own deal against them, which led to this pretty audacious three-pronged plan.
Okay, break it down. Prong 1.
Step 1, sabotage. They need to intercept the shipment of disruptors before the payment goes through. The guns are apparently being moved in 6 valet droids.
Valet droids, okay.
So, intercept the droids, swap the high-tech rifles with junk, useless contraband. Timing and stealth are critical here.
All right, step 1, swap the guns. Step 2.
Step 2, distraction. Let the Savak game play out. Let the payment transfer happen. Pharaoh thinks he's picking for disruptors.
But he's not.
Exactly. When he goes to collect his weapons from Hamar Choktak and finds useless junk instead, well, you can imagine. The full wrath of House Miss City comes down on Hamar Choktak.
Instant gang war. The perfect diversion.
Calculated mayhem, yeah. They're not avoiding conflict, they're actively starting it between their enemies.
Okay, makes sense in a crazy way. So step 3 must be the actual heist.
Right. Step 3, heist. While Pharaoh and Hamar Choktak's forces are tearing the place apart and security is scrambling to deal with that, that's when they make their move on the vault, using Riza's biometric key.
Using the chaos they deliberately created.
Precisely. It all hinges on perfect timing and everyone playing their part, including their enemies.
This whole thing is just, wow. It's a ridiculously high-wire act. They're juggling these criminal factions. They still have the ISB breathing down their necks, needing some intel.
Yep, got to keep court happy enough not to expose them.
And all while Flick is basically bankrupt and could lose everything.
It's high stakes all around. So, just to kind of recap where we are, Rue Squadron dodged immediate annihilation by becoming triple agents for the ISB.
Check.
They patched up their personnel losses, sort of, by hiring their bounty hunter and nicknaming him G2.
Check. Bizarrely.
And now they've cooked up this incredibly complex 3-part plan to hit the glittering gamble, aiming to steal vault data and trigger a war between 2 major enemies simultaneously.
And their loyalties are completely split. Rebellion, Hutts, ISB. The heist isn't just about credits or data, is it? It's about who they ultimately betray.
That seems to be the core question moving forward. Who do they fail first? Because they can't possibly satisfy all 3.
And the sources really highlight how they keep turning these awful situations, these liabilities like Vark or Riza, into, well, temporary tools.
Yeah, they seem to thrive on that chaotic improvisation, converting threats into assets, even if it blows up later.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on, maybe. Given how they seem to succeed by, embracing the chaos, turning bounty hunters into bodyguards, debtors into accomplices, what is the actual value of pure unpredictability in these kinds of complex ops? When does always double down, which seems to be their motto?
Yeah, it seems like it.
When does that stop being a strategy and just become, well, spectacular self-destruction waiting to happen? Something to think about. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Thank you for listening to the Bastard Star Wars RPG Deep Dive podcast. We'll see you next week.